Hey everybody. So this week's question is, how did the prophets in the Old Testament time have sway and influence in their day? It's a great question. When we think about people in our day who have influence, I find this fascinating. We have an entire group of people who now their job is influencer. They're online right now, and they're able to influence and make all kinds of money talking about all kinds of different products on whatever it might be. And how did that happen? Well, we could do the whole get off my lawn and say they're untalented hacks and why, who could care what they say about anything. But the reality is most of them worked very, very hard, starting off small, building their business, building their brand so that they are at the point where they are an influencer. That's always happened, guys. It doesn't matter if it was online or if it was sports figures, if it was elected officials. There's always people that have had influence, and you can trace it back to something. With the prophets, it's the same, but really different. They have influence not because they were elected to something, not because they worked on their brand, not because they were even particularly good at their messaging. They had influence because God called them, and then God gave them a Holy Spirit infused word that people simply could not ignore. I mean, that's it. We've all had those times too where we have heard a message or heard a person that speaks with a different level of authority. Like, you can try to dismiss it. You can try to say, you know what, it doesn't really connect with me. But there is something about that message that hits in a different way than just the influences that come on around us. That is true of this time of the prophets in the Old Testament. They don't have great resumes. They don't necessarily have the backing, and yet something about them allowed them to literally go into palaces and speak words to kings that should have got them thrown in jail, and instead got their message heard, if not always followed. Sounds like one of those church answers. Yeah, it was God, it was the Holy Spirit. This time, the church answer is the right one. There's a reason why these people were able to say the things that they could say to the people that they could say. And it's because it was not their own words. It's because it was God inspiring words through them. That's something very different than what we see in any other time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.